Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher, according to reporters who were following him, were like, he was hitting multiple spots in like 6 and 7 hour windows. I mean, it was all full go. Texas A&M 9-1 season, finished one spot outside the playoff. I mean, he is doing his thing, trying to charge up all of those Texas A&M boosters, all of the 12th men and women. So one of the quotes during his little pep talk included his confidence that he would be able to take down Alabama and Nick Saban. And so, as he's doing this, this is the message that is 100% being delivered to an audience that wants to hear it. Probably got all the claps, right up with him getting the boots on the day he was introduced. I am a boot guy, like really being excited about the culture. So when he says, don't worry, we're going to beat Alabama and Nick Saban, do you think that Jimbo Fisher, as Texas A&M's head coach, will have a win against Alabama, coached by Nick Saban, when both coaches are retired?
Hold on a sec. You gave the G-rated version. If you're driving around with your kids, mute it for a second. This is what he said. We're going to beat his ass when he's there. Don't you worry. Like, that's what I get, like, real fast. I could hear it. That's what he said. I love it. I love it. Like, I wish we had more coaches who said this, not only at their own touchdown clubs, but at SEC media days. Like, yeah. And he's saying it with a laugh. Like, this is smack talk at its best. And I guarantee you, if Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban are out playing golf together, or they're out on the lake together, wherever these coaches with all these millions of dollars hang out in the offseason, I guarantee you Jimbo Fisher would tell Nick Saban, I'm going to get your ass one of these days. Like, it's smack talk at its best. And I think it's awesome. I love it. So now we can answer the question. I just wanted to get that out of my, like, I wish we had more coaches who said this more.
I like that. I mean, and listen, I hope that if they're having this game of golf, it's back in West Virginia, right? I mean, because it's like Clarksburg for Jimbo, Fairmont for Nick Saban. Like, yes. They've always had that sort of like old West Virginia connection. I mean, they're probably dropping peanuts in the Coca-Cola. Oh, peanuts and Coca-Cola is a West Virginia delicacy. Like they probably are just like doing it all, living up the smack talk. But do you think he'll have one? He'll have one win. He'll get his ass.
Yeah. Yes. They'll get him once.
That was a question mark. No period.
I mean, it's a compliment to what Nick Saban has built at Alabama, but I do think that Texas A&M is, Jimbo Fisher's done enough there where I think the same question of him beating Alabama is kind of the same question of whether Texas A&M can take that next step. If the offense kind of opens it up and they get the right quarterback in there and they're able to, because like you can't beat Alabama 20-17 anymore. You've got to score at least 42 points. And if Texas A&M gets to the point where it's going to be able to put up 40 points on a regular basis, week in and week out, then yeah, it's going to be able to get Alabama once. But I also agree with you, Danny, that we need coaches doing this more. Like, what's like the worst thing that happens is, okay, you lose and then somebody on Twitter, like dunks on you. Who cares?
Right. Exactly. Who cares? I think he'll get him. I think he'll get him this year. And that's not a knock against Alabama. It's football. I mean, Alabama was trailing to Georgia at halftime, correct?
I can't remember if it was trailing, but it was definitely close.
They were down. The Florida game never felt like it was in jeopardy. But, yeah, I mean, there have been teams that have beaten Nick Saban. Kevin Sumlin beat Nick Saban, right? I mean, it's been done before. So I actually like his mindset of setting this as the standard. Like, it's one thing if you're Mark Stoops at Kentucky or Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri, and they're come out there saying, yeah, we want to get Bama. Like, then it becomes the meme of we want Bama signs. They're all over the country. And it's like, oh, really? You want that? But he's in that echelon. Absolutely. He'll definitely beat him at some point. How long Nick Saban coaches probably comes into play.
Yeah, take that into consideration.
But I think, if one of these quarterbacks, and I think from what we've seen, it doesn't appear to be, but maybe they're going against a great defense. Maybe that's why they've struggled in the spring. If one of them pops or in another year, they get a transfer Maybe it's TJ Finley. I don't know. We'll get to that in a minute. But I mean, it does feel like they're really close. And I know the score isn't close, but their talent is getting a lot closer in the, 4 and 5 star composite rankings. They're getting closer in talent.
Jimbo, Texas A&M, Alabama games seem to have taken a familiar like storyline where it's almost always, I mean, obviously every game is close to start with, but it isn't until like either late second quarter or mid third quarter. It's like Bama hits the gas and Texas A&M can't keep up. No, if we just take all of the beginnings of these games, like, man, like Texas A&M's going blow for blow with them. Like I think the 2018 game in Tuscaloosa was one where it wasn't until, a little bit about like late second quarter, maybe early third quarter, Bama was really able to run away and hide. But for the most part, when they get off the bus, they look every bit the part. And at the beginnings of these games, when they're just trading those first initial punches, they look every bit the part. They just need to be able to hang in there for 4 quarters, and then they'll be able to do it.